Hey, welcome to the Create a Life That Is Beautiful podcast. I'm your host, Leticia Ringe, and this is the space to be for high vibe people looking to create a beautiful life and business. Let's do this. Welcome back to the podcast, my beautiful friends. I'm Leticia Ringe, your coach, and today we are talking about masculine energy in romantic relationships. First things first, we're talking about masculine energy, not men or masculinity. Those terms all mean different things. Today we are talking about masculine energy only. And I want to remind everybody that every single human holds both masculine and feminine energy. If you listen to the previous episode on polarity, you will understand that in a romantic relationship, we have the opportunity to create polarity, which creates attraction, magnetism, balance, creative power, sustainability, and lots of other amazing things when we have one partner holding the masculine pole in the relationship, as in masculine energy, and the other partner holding the feminine energy pole in relationship. This can be through approaching the relationship primarily within one of these energies or moving more fluidly between the two, but always ensuring that someone's holding the masculine while the other is holding the feminine. Whatever you want to do is great. It is easier to practice deepening into one and primarily approaching from one source of power. However, please know that no matter which one you choose, there will be times when you will be in your masculine energy and times where you'll be in your feminine energy within the relationship. Today, we're going to dive into masculine energy. So I'm going to take you through what masculine energy includes. It's not exhaustive though, so make sure you add to the list that I share with you based on your own studies and practice. The second thing we'll be talking about is what masculine energy needs to function from the feminine. So this is the symbiotic relationship that I spoke about in the previous episode. The third thing we'll talk about is what the masculine energy needs from itself in order to function healthily. And finally, 3 ideas to approach your relationship from your masculine energy today for those of you who want to deepen into masculine energy. So first things first, let's talk about what masculine energy includes, and remembering that this list is not exhaustive. Words like hard, singular focus, intellect, mind, gives, sees, mental, strategy, boundaries, containers, provides, leads, directs, commands, dominant, less, does, protects, works, discipline, consistent, objective, logical, analytical, thinks, decides, routines. These are some words that represent masculine energy, and what you'll probably notice is that they're quite easy to understand. The reason for this is the language that we use to communicate with each other through our words and through the voice, our spoken language, our written form of language, the English language, the French language, whatever language it is, you are using your mind to process that language. So masculine energy is all about the mind, the mental, the intellect. So you're using the same language. When we talk about feminine energy, it's like you're speaking another language, and that's because it's not coming through the mind. It's using other sources of power. So it's usually quite simple to understand what masculine energy is. However, what is not simple is understanding what masculine energy needs to function from the feminine, and more importantly, what masculine energy needs from itself in order to function healthily. I believe that the biggest issues with masculine energy today is not that we have so many people within their masculine energy. It's actually that we have so many people in an unhealthy expression of their masculine energy. And we also have lots of people in an unhealthy expression of their feminine energy. So what I'm seeking to do in all of the content I've shared to date on masculine and feminine energy is to teach a healthy expression. And now we are doing this in the context of romantic relationships. If you learn how to apply a healthy masculine energy into your romantic relationship, it will increase your power together as a couple. So let's now talk about the two harder topics to talk about. First of all, what masculine energy needs to function from the feminine. So in the previous episode, I spoke about the symbiotic and interdependent relationship between masculine and feminine energy. One cannot exist without the other, and they both need each other in order to function. However, they are two independent systems. They're just interdependent in the way they function. So what the masculine energy needs in order to function well is the following from the feminine. Someone to follow. One cannot be a leader without having someone or something to lead. The feminine is that. And in our society, we tend to all want to be leaders, but we can't function if we're all leading. And actually, if you really get down to it, not everybody wants to be a leader. For instance, when I walk away from my work for the day in my business, which by necessity and by design requires me to be in my masculine as the leader of my business, even though I approach my business as much as possible and my work as much as possible from my feminine, I am still holding the container of my business. I'm the leader of it. It requires me to be in my masculine energy. So when given the opportunity not to lead, I am very happy to do that as long as I trust the person who is leading me to take me where I want to go. It's beautiful. I love it. So in a romantic relationship, if I want to come from my feminine more, I need to allow my partner the opportunity to lead. This is all within your power as a feminine, because if you're coming from your feminine energy, you can stop your partner from leading by simply not following. And then they don't get to lead and you don't get led. So you are so important in that dynamic. And I feel like when we talk about masculine energy and leadership in this way, we usually strip away all of our power as the person holding the feminine energy by saying that that gives all the power to the masculine to lead. It also assumes that we all want to lead. But we inspire our partner and give them the information that they need in order to lead well by following and also being in our feminine, which provides the information that the person in the masculine needs in order to make great decisions for the relationship. So if I'm in my feminine, I am literally emitting information. And if my partner is in his healthy masculine, or they are in their healthy masculine, or she is in her healthy masculine, she will be looking to me and the information that I'm emitting in my feminine to make great decisions. And that's because when you're in the feminine, you are expressing your desires, you're expressing how you feel, you are really living from your body and your emotions and your intuition rather than from the intellect. And we need both of these sources of information to make great decisions. So that is what the masculine energy person gets to do, but they're only able to do it if the person in their feminine is healthily expressing their feminine and also allowing the other person to be within their masculine. So typically, someone coming from their feminine energy stops the person coming from their masculine energy from being able to be in their masculine energy because they don't allow them the opportunity to lead. The person coming from their feminine actually tries to come from their masculine and commands and directs and gives orders and tries to take those reins from their partner instead of doing what they're here to do, which is to experience and enjoy and be in the moment, and then sharing that information from that beautiful experience in the moment to their partner, who is in the masculine, seeing what they're emitting. So you can see how beautiful this symbiotic, interdependent relationship is. Now, the person within their masculine energy also needs respect from the person in their feminine. It is essential. If you're not respecting the person leading you and their leadership, are you truly following? No. You don't give that person the opportunity to actually lead you unless you allow them to lead you. And respect is a necessary part of that. It's kind of like if you work with a coach and you don't respect your coach, you will not be led in that coaching container. You will not make the most of the coaching process, the coaching journey. You will not access the power and wisdom that's within you because you won't allow yourself to be held by the coaching container and process. And this is a big thing that many people face. So respect is a source of power, and it's necessary for the masculine to function. And you would be surprised just how much the masculine energy partner craves that respect from you in order to lead and provide and keep going. The person who's holding the masculine pole also requires trust from the feminine. If the feminine is saying to the masculine, I'll trust you once you give me evidence that you're trustworthy and that I can trust you, because I'll see if your leadership takes me in the way I want to be taken and also gets me to where I want to go, then that's going to lead to the person in the masculine not backing themselves, not making clear decisions, not creating and holding a strong container for you to relax into. So as the person in the feminine, you need to practice trust. And your partner in the masculine will make mistakes. We all do when we're leading, right? But they're going to do the best job they can when you give them your trust. And then afterwards you can give feedback and talk about like what you would do differently next time. And then you learn and you give the information that your partner needs to lead well. But if you're not trusting them and you're beating up on them, it's not going to bode well to strong and healthy leadership. Another thing that the masculine energy partner needs is appreciation. We all need to be appreciated. And sometimes I think generally when it comes to leadership, we forget that leading can be a really lonely place. If you're leading in your business, the amount of times that you actually hear appreciation from the people in that business, clients, team, community members, like all the people who are on your website and you're reading your content, in comparison to the amount of energy that you give through that leadership versus the feedback that you get from people, it's very disproportionate. So leadership is very lonely and often there's not a lot of feedback, but the more appreciation you give from the feminine, like words of encouragement, appreciation for that role, the more the masculine will be inspired to really take that role, to guide you, to respect it themselves, to appreciate it themselves, and to value it. So if you want to be better led, you want to appreciate the person leading you. And again, know that you are actually co-creating that leadership through your role in the feminine. You're not giving up all of your leadership, and you are also leading, it's just in a different way. Finally, what masculine energy needs to function from the feminine is inspiration. The masculine is inspired by seeing what it needs from the feminine. So if you are in your feminine and you're not being vulnerable, you're not showing your partner what your true feelings are and your true desires, then your partner can't use that as information. And if you're approaching it in a way which is blaming and shaming, that's not going to inspire them. So allowing yourself to be seen and allowing yourself to inspire rather than criticize and judge is what the masculine needs to take that leadership, to be inspired and encouraged and motivated to be in that role of the leader. And whoever chooses that role is energized by that role. So remember, they love it, but when it's functioning in this way with the support of the feminine. Now, what the masculine energy person needs from itself to function healthily are the following. It sees what's needed through presence and awareness. I found this so fascinating to understand and to learn. Masculine energy in its healthy form is about presence and awareness. It's about having time and space to be still. It's about practicing presence. It's about using awareness to really see what a situation needs. So the person in the masculine will need to learn how to practice presence. For one, learn how to be in the present moment. We'll need to also learn how to tap into that awareness rather than simply being completely up in their mind and their head and the intellect. Awareness is what sees. So when they're coming from presence, which allows them to tap into their awareness, they're then able to see what the situation needs. They can look to the environment, they can look to their intellect, and they can look to what the person in the feminine is telling them, what information that they're projecting. And then they can use that to make decisions for the relationship and to take the relationship to where both of you want to go. The second thing that the masculine energy needs from itself to function healthily is honesty. So the masculine really needs that feedback, that direct, unfiltered feedback from itself. It needs to evaluate and look at like what really worked here and what didn't, and to be just honest, radically honest with itself. Sometimes it can seem more harsh, but the masculine energy actually thrives through what we perceive as harsh. And so approaching feedback and honesty from a place of this is just allowing me to get better and to lead better, and I'm allowed to make mistakes. In fact, I should and will make mistakes, and it's inevitable, will allow the person holding the masculine pole to stay in it and to receive that feedback and to use it to make itself better rather than use it to not back itself for the future. Something else the masculine energy needs from itself is responsibility. It's essential. You can't lead without taking responsibility. So the person who's holding the masculine pole should take responsibility for everything in the relationship. Now, this doesn't mean that the person in the feminine doesn't take responsibility. They take responsibility too. But if you're going to lead well, you need to take responsibility for everything. So you say, okay, what can I do within my power to lead us in a better way in future? If you're saying, hey, like the person in the feminine, they're the ones who are responsible, or you're looking to the environment and saying it didn't give me great information. If you're pointing the finger to anyone else, you lose all of that power, and you need that power to be able to make decisions that are within your power to lead better and better and better. So taking responsibility allows that. And that's, of course, also what we recommend in personal development generally, that every single person takes responsibility for their life, because that gives you all the power to change it. Something else masculine energy needs from itself to function healthily is space and freedom. It's important for the person in the masculine to be able to go away and have time to think and process. This is what allows the person in the masculine to see. So time to decompress and time to be alone and time to get outside of the environment is really, really important. Finally, The person in the masculine energy needs to make decisions. You've got to trust and back yourself in order to make those decisions. If you're going to your partner and saying, hey, what do you think? And here are all the options. And can you make a decision? That is not leading. That is not providing a strong container. And that is what you're doing as the person coming from the masculine. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't ever get feedback from your partner. Of course you can, but you can approach that in a different way that gets that information rather than putting the responsibility of making the decisions onto your partner. Okay, that's what your responsibility is when you're coming from the masculine energy. All right, now I want to share with you 3 ways to approach a relationship from the masculine energy that you can incorporate today. Step number 1. Take responsibility for leading the relationship to where both you and your partner want to go. Where things go wrong is when the person holding the masculine pole leads the relationship but doesn't take into account where both parties want to go. You want to move with intention. You want to lead with intention. So it's very important that you're communicating with your partner and you know what your shared intention and vision is for the relationship. When you know that, you can confirm with your partner and reassure them that, hey, this is where we're going. This is where I'm taking you. That allows your partner in the feminine to feel safe to follow, to feel held, to feel safe to trust, to know that you've got their back. So take responsibility for leading the relationship to where both you and your partner want to go. The second thing you can do is create containers for you and your partner, including to hear from and tune into your partner's feelings and desires. For example, how was that experience for you? So you lead them, you guide them, you direct them somewhere based on where you know that both you and your partner want to go. And then afterwards, you can get feedback. Ask them, like, how was that for you? What was the experience like? How did you feel through the process? What do you desire moving forward? Now, you're only going to ask these questions if you don't take them personally, remembering that honesty with yourself and also getting that unfiltered information from your partner is what you need to make even better decisions moving forward. So it's not about getting it perfect. It's about always creating containers to receive that feedback. And you want to create containers for you and your partner generally. So a container could look like, we're going to go on a date on this night and I'm creating the container for that. Meet me here. We're going to do this. Now, the only way you're going to get buy-in from your partner who's in the feminine is if you're taking into account what you know they want and enjoy and appreciate. So you do need to be checking in often and regularly with your partner who's in the feminine to make those decisions and to create really great containers. You need to be seeing what is needed, and you'll be able to do that by creating containers. Number 3, practice providing directions rather than offering options or questions. Now, when you're seeking feedback from your partner, you will ask them a question, or you could even say it in a direction. But what we typically tend to do is ask a lot of questions, give a lot of options, because we don't want to back ourselves or take responsibility, or we want to be polite. But to really deepen into your masculine energy, I really encourage you to practice providing directions. This is what we're doing. This is where we're going. This is how we're doing it. And you'll be surprised by how much safety that creates within your partner in the feminine to follow. Clear leadership usually leads to more followers. You know, before I understood the power of clear, concise, direct leadership, I didn't understand why so many people who practice yoga sign themselves up willingly to be taught by someone who I felt was being rude, telling you what to do and doing it in a very commanding, authoritative way. And yet those classes would have the most people in them. I just couldn't understand it. But now I do, because that clear, concise direction allows you to be held, to follow, to relax into that leadership. It allows you to feel safe to follow. And that is the opportunity that's presented to you as the person holding the masculine energy pole within the relationship. Now, of course, checks and balances must be in place to ensure that you're not abusing the power and responsibility that comes with strong leadership. Now, of course, there will be cases where someone is in their feminine energy and they're in it in an unhealthy way. And when that's paired with someone within their masculine energy who is using that energy in an unhealthy way, that's going to create some pretty toxic patterns. This is absolutely not what I'm talking about. I am talking about conscious people like you who want to be in a healthy, conscious version of their masculine energy with a partner who is in a conscious, healthy version of their feminine energy. Both sources of energy are empowered. They come as sources of power, and they both support the other to be in that healthy dynamic. If anything else is happening or going on there, you need to look at the expression of the energy that you're using and then move from there. So my beautiful friends, there is the start to masculine energy. You now know in general what it is. You know how to support it if you're coming from your feminine, and how to support it if you're coming from your masculine, and then 3 ways that you can start deepening into your masculine energy and approaching your relationship from your masculine energy today. If you'd like support in deepening into your masculine or feminine energy within your romantic relationships or romantic life, whether you're single or in a relationship, or you'd like support in creating polarity, this is something I can help you with in my conscious relationship coaching program, which I am now running on a one-to-one basis. You can find all the information at leticiaringe.com/coaching. Submit your application so that I can then offer you a free coaching session with me so that I can support you in identifying what your work is and exactly what we'd be focusing on together in the program. And then you can also have an experience of coaching with me, and I can also have an experience of coaching with you before inviting you into a longer program. If you'd like to know more about that, head to leticiaringe.com/coaching. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to the Create a Life That Is Beautiful podcast. I'm your host, Leticia Ringe, and I appreciate you so much. If you would like support one-to-one as you up-level your life, business, or relationships in a conscious, intentional, and love-focused way, then head to leticiaringe.com/coaching. I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.